All right, everyone, good evening and welcome to our Trading Psychology Mastery course, Lesson 7. We're going to focus on the trading routine, and I'm going to give you some last steps and milestones to push through. And this is the conclusion of the course. It's the last lesson. I got to tell you, it's a bittersweet experience going into this. I've had a lot of fun with this, and I know that you guys have seen a lot of progress and mindset shift, and I'm really honored to have been able to walk you through that. So it's the last lesson. That being said, we still got to get through it, and it's a very powerful one. So I'm very happy you're here. I'm very grateful and thankful for your presence. And in tonight's agenda, what we're going to talk about is the journey so far. We're going to summarize it, and it's you guys have taken. I don't know if you realize it. Who realizes this? You've made a massive, massive move forward. This has been a great journey, a long one, but it's monumental. You know, I had opportunity to shift your whole mindset, let alone your life, and how to create it. All right, we're going to talk about the morning routine, the trading routine, also trade journaling and how to review. I'll give you guys 2 techniques, and you can choose which one is best for you and your own schedule and circumstances. Then we're going to get into putting it all together and talk to you a little analogy about the summit to Everest and meditation for positive thought. And let me close iLeo because he's going to make me blink every 8 minutes. I don't need to blink, iLeo. All right. And last but not least, I'm going to give you guys some resources, my favorite stuff for mindset work and next steps if you want to get more into this. I mean, the rabbit hole goes deep. There's a lot of science backing change from the way we've thought the world existed to what it really is. And this is a continuous learning experience. You're never really done learning. And that's the beauty of life, all right? So I'll give you some of my favorite resources, how to go from here, next steps, and how to stay in top shape, in top game form. First, I want to take you guys through this journey. I just want to show you how much progress each and every one of you have made. And we're going to celebrate that. I celebrate and applaud your efforts and everything you put in so far. And we still have some ways to go. But here's the journey that you've taken so far. You've unleashed the horsepower of your unconscious mind. Very few people are aware of the powerful part that their unconscious mind plays. Very few people are aware of the statistics and the math and the numbers behind how much of your behavior, how much of your outcome is dictated by what your unconscious mind does. It does a lot of the heavy lifting. You've untapped that horsepower. You have that at your disposal, at will. All right, you've elicited your values and motivations. We talked about values, how most people have values that were formed by the time they were 7 years old, and they stick with those values. Well, we've elicited them. You know which they are, which the top 10 are for yourselves, and what your motivations are, what your drivers are. This way you're able to use your unconscious mind to get you closer to your goals that align with your values and motivations. I can't tell you how important that is. Just those 2 things alone are massive. They're big shifts in your mindset. You've applied a lot of powerful techniques to heal your timeline, your past, your future, using time techniques. It's a method that works very strongly, and it creates powerful consequences as well. So I've given you those strategies. I've given you those tools that are recorded. And just to give you guys a heads up, I'm gonna put all the tools and audio clips into one section called resources. So you could go there, and I'll build on that as we go forward on this journey. Like we said, it never finishes. I'll continue to add resources in the member area of this course. So continue to check back. I'll keep you guys posted on that also. All right. You've learned to use resource anchors. You've learned how to take a negative mindset and abandon it and replace it with one that you want, a positive mindset, and why that's important. All right, you've learned the secrets of wealth and positive mindset. We know that what you think manifests. Therefore, if you simply just start thinking positive all the time, the positive things will come to you. And we also talked about the difference between wanting something and actually visualizing yourself already having it. All right, the first one creates a reality of wanting. If you want to have success, the universe takes that literally as a command and says, here, I will create you wanting success. And you're going to want success forever until you take affirmative and positive action and actually believe that you have it and see yourself having it. Now you're sending the real command to the universe to align for you. You've learned how to affirm and live in gratitude. I can't tell you how important that is. Through a lot of the research I've gone through and a lot of the circles of friends that I have, and I'm part of a lot of this manifestation and positive mindset circles as well, those that have gratitude, those that are grateful for what they have, achieve more. Those who are not grateful for what they have tend not to get more, because if you don't love and cherish and respect and value what you do have, how are you supposed to get more? All right. And affirmations are commands. You've also learned how to make affirmations. So you've learned how to shape your reality through positive thought, gratitude, and affirmation. I've also taught you trading related material about identifying the self-sabotage cycle that's ever present in human psychology, driven mainly due to emotion, mainly due to misalignment to your technique with your values. All right. And how to exit each phase, not just with some words, but some real tools, right? The resource anchors, all this stuff. I've given you a lot of different content to help you exit the self-sabotage cycle. In essence, this entire course prepared you for that. Lesson 6. All right, and lesson 7, what we talked about is setting SMART goals and milestones and how to plant them into your future timeline. And you've also learned the tools to shift your mindset and shape reality, like we've said. That's it. I mean, who would have thought that you would have got all this when you started? Honestly, looking at it, this is one heck of a journey you guys have been on. This is a lot of progress you've made, and who's responsible for that progress? You are. All right. Yeah, I may have been your tour guide. Yeah, I may have helped you along the way. But the most important part is that you chose to walk down that path. You embraced it. You went on the journey. All right. It's you. You are responsible for every positive thing happening in your life. And I'm happy to have helped and walk alongside you. Today, we're going to talk about building a morning routine. I agree. This is so much more than trading psychology. I was going to call it the mindset course, but then it's going to scare traders away. So we had to coin it something that had to do with trading. Let's talk about building a morning routine. So much of what we do in life is routine. In fact, we talked at one point during this course that if you encounter something new, your brain takes that information and tries to, as quickly and efficiently as possible, to convert it into a pattern. All right, and a pattern becomes a habit, and a habit becomes part of routine. All right, so if you build a morning routine for success, success will follow, especially with all the tools and positivity mindset that you have all learned. So how do we do that? I'm going to give you the components, and I'm going to tell you this: there is no one magical routine, but I will give you guys 5 components that every successful person that I've researched. By the way, modeling is something I'm doing quite a bit of recently. I'm looking at successful people, and through their texts, through their conversations, through their products and output interviews, you could start to model their behavior. And I've found that all of these morning routines have 5 core components to them. And I'll give you a real good resource as well, so you could create your very own. Rather than looking for someone's routine, it's very important that you create your own that speaks to your subconscious mind. All right, but they have 5 components. Gratitude. Every morning, success starts with gratitude. You start by being grateful. And I hear a lot of people, I got a few emails, and some people say, no, what if there's nothing to be grateful for in that day? And that, I obviously had to follow up with a massive response. There's always something to be grateful for. The fact you opened your eyes and awoke is gratitude enough. Do you realize how powerful that is? They say the probability of being alive is 2 million people in one room having a dice with 1 billion sides, all rolling it and hitting the same number at the exact same time. Right? You won the lottery. Having the internet, having a washroom that you could close your door and use and relieve yourself in private, you won the lottery. All right, so there's always something to be grateful for. So gratitude's an important part. The next step is visualization and meditation. So the beginning of the day, one of the pitfalls is we look at our phone, we look at social media, and that puts us in the mind of lack, in a mindset of lack. We see what everyone else did. We get to enjoy their life through Instagram and social media, but that ruins our day right from the beginning. So before you even look at that, it's important to visualize and meditate in the morning. When you meditate, your mind and your heart connect. All right, there's a lot of research that says there's neurites around the heart that are the same cells as the brain, but they function independently of the brain. So that means your heart thinks, your heart has a brain. In fact, when you measure the electrical current of the heart, it has 100 times more electrical field than the brain does. The heart is the stronger and bigger muscle. It's the more powerful one. So when you visualize and meditate, you synchronize what you think with what you feel. And that's why this is so important. Visualization, meditation, I don't start my day without it. I do it right as soon as I wake up. The best time to meditate is in the very morning, as soon as you wake up, while you're still in bed, or get up and sit down somewhere and meditate, because you're in the alpha state. When you go from the deep sleep state to the awake state, you're transitioning through the meditative state naturally. All right, the other thing you should do is physical exercise. Now, this sounds really cheesy, but even if you just do a couple of jumping jacks, do something, get the blood flowing, that will trigger a response in your body for action. It's telling your body you're awake, let's do this. You're creating positive physiology. All right, the next thing is goal setting. And I can't tell you how important this is. We talked about SMART goals overall, that you got to review weekly, quarterly, etc. 2-year, 3-year, 5-year goals, whatever you want. That's great, but you got to have a goal for the day. What's the most important thing you want to accomplish today before you go to bed? That it will make the day complete. All right, and when you set a goal for trading related, it could be how much money you want to make. And I strongly advise you to have a goal of how much money you want to make. All right, what are you looking to make in today's session? Put it on paper, because attention is intention, and that's manifestation. All right, and the last piece is do some research, do some levels, read some news. This is the least important piece. When you look at other successful people in the world, great leaders, people who are enlightened and awoken, I guess you could call them, they research on things in the morning. They read the news, they stay up to date, they stay connected to the world. But that's the least important thing. You have to have gratitude, visualize, and or meditate. All right, do a physical exercise and set some goals for the day, and then get rocking. It takes 20 minutes to do all this. 20 minutes is all it takes. And there's research proving that when you start your day with a routine that looks something like this, the day goes a lot more productively, because you have intention. You've given commands to your subconscious mind to execute. So what I've done is given you these 5 steps. How you incorporate that is your choice. Basically, if you want to go and hit the gym first, I wouldn't do that. I would meditate first. That's absolutely the first thing. And then you could do your gratitude while you're on the treadmill if you want to save time. But the important thing here is to make it sustainable and irreplaceable. It's like this is as certain as you waking up. All right, this is part of your routine. You could be on holiday, you could be doing anything else. These steps don't change. And I follow this exact same process. All right. And I'm going to tell you this, my routine is something like this. I do skip the physical exercise component sometimes in the morning, because I'll go to the gym in the afternoon, but I wake up in the morning. First thing I do is I meditate for about 5 to 10 minutes. And what does meditation mean? Turning off all your thoughts. All right, visualizing things that you want, putting yourself in a higher energy. And then I immediately review my gratitude from the previous night and say things I'm grateful for this morning. And I make them focus not towards physical materialistic goods, but towards intangible things. You know, I'm grateful for hearing the birds chirp. I'm grateful for having clean water. I'm grateful for how divine this planet is. Be grateful for the things that you don't think about and you take for granted. And then what I'll do is I'll drive over to the office. I'm actually in the process of shooting a video on the morning routine for YouTube. I'll go to the office, I'll set some goals for the day session, then I'll start reviewing things, and we jump into the morning market updates. But I do this without fail every day. All right. How you put that into your schedule depends on what kind of schedule you got, what kind of person you are. But I'll tell you this, you got to have those steps in there, and you have to commit to creating a morning routine. And you're going to ask, well, George, how do I create? One second. You're going to ask, George, how do I create a morning routine? I got a trading routine worksheet for you. All right, I've actually created it. If you go into Lesson 7 resources, if you just go under Lesson 7 in the member area, you're going to be able to download and print this sheet. And it's simple. What you want to do is fill out these quadrants. What are you grateful for in the morning? 4 things. What are your daily goals? I left 4 spaces because one could be trading, how much money you want to make, and have some other goals. All right. When goal setting, I have an acronym that are called MSN. Mission critical. Basically, this means without these goals, the day's not done. S means should do, like this would be nice if I get these things, or should do them. I should probably get them done today. And N is nice. It'd be nice to do this, but let's not get too crazy. All right, and I have in the morning goals, and it literally says MSN. I have 3 goals for the day. Very important for goal setting, especially in the morning for the day. Keeps you on pace. After you do your gratitude and daily goals, do some physical exercise. The reason I have 4 things here is if you literally wiggle your toes for 5 minutes, we'll count that as physical exercise. Anything. Just do something where you move. Jumping jacks. Walk up and down the stairs. Walk to your car and back to your door and to your car again. Anything that you want to do that increases the blood flow. It gets you going. All right. Visualization I put here. This isn't in steps, but visualization and meditation. And I left you 2 because I'm going to give you a visualization exercise I want you to practice for at least the next 21 days, and then a meditation that you could write down. So you could say, hey, it's some type of meditation that you like. And I'll show you where to get meditations for free that are very powerful. And then market research. This is kind of what you need to research. What news source? All right, I'm going to read Bloomberg's morning report. And the idea here is to have a morning routine worksheet, and you can only change it every 21 days. You have to do this for 21 days. Do your results and notes, what you want to change. In the next 21 days, you could change these things, but stick to something for at least 21 days. All right, because the last thing you want to do is engrave a pattern in your head that you don't follow routine. All right, very interesting stuff. So what you want to do is download and fill this out as soon as we finish the session. When's the best time to use this worksheet? I could ask you guys. When would be the best time to use this? Starting tomorrow morning. Bingo. Have it handy by your desk. All right, and review it and commit to it for 21 days. That's all that I ask from this worksheet. And that morning routine will eventually be tailored to you specifically. I have my morning routine. You will have a different one, and I want it to resonate with what you're trying to accomplish, not just give you mine. But I do have some stuff coming out that I'll share my routine and some tips as well on creating routine. Yeah, Marjorie, including weekends. Weekends are a day. Obviously, for your daily goals, they'll change, right? You're not going to be trying to make money trading, but your daily goals could be see my family or buy 1 coffee for a stranger. You know, I do that sometimes. I'll just get an intuitive feeling that I want to do something nice for somebody, and I'll look behind me. I'll say, what are you having? I'd like to buy you a coffee. I mean, that could be a goal, right? But you could set any kind of goals. Commit for 21 days. Scott, I'll check that out towards the end. I'd love to see it and share it with the team. Would you mind if I share your routine with the team? One of our members contributed a link. I'll do it at the very end if you don't mind. Okay. Who's really good at visualizing? Who's a visual person? Let me ask you this. Who would like to improve their visualization technique? What I mean by visualization is seeing images in your mind. I got a really foolproof method for you that'll make you very powerful visualizing, which will make you a very powerful manifester. Because remember, life is images of the mind expressed. Whatever you visualize is what becomes. All right, so here's the process, and we're going to do it together. All right, so we're going to go through the process, and then as step by step, you guys will have to listen, and at one point you have to close your eyes. Step 1 is notice an object in your visual perimeter right now. Choose one object and fixate on it. All right? See it for 3 seconds in all its details. Appreciate everything around it. And in 3, 2, 1, close your eyes and just listen. All right? Imagine that object in your mind's eye. With your eyes closed, you could keep your head pretty much pointed towards the same direction because all you did was just close your eyes. It's there. And imagine that object with as much detail as possible. I use the cup, all right? And I have my eyes closed. That cup is green. Around the bottom, it's got a see-through glass bottom. And I saw the reflection of the table on it, but it still had a green hint at the bottom. The water had some fizzy bubbles towards the top. I can't recall how many, but I'm going to guess around 6. And nothing else in that one parameter, just the 6 bubbles at the top of the water. It had a little bit of a nice glow to it, white on the inside, green on the outside. All right, and I've been working on visualization a long time. I could see things and commit it to memory very quickly. The next step is evoke all the senses. When you could see that cup, imagine yourself without moving your hand grabbing the cup or touching your watch or whatever it is. Imagine how it would feel. Right? If there's a ticking sound, imagine how you would hear it as you hold that visual in front of you. All right, and you want to spend around 30 seconds to a minute doing that. And then what you want to do is appreciate that object. Every time you visualize something, you got to show gratitude towards it. I'm grateful for this cup. It's allowing me to stay hydrated and keeping me alive. All right? And then open your eyes. And the next step is repeat that. But what's going to eventually happen is cut step number 2 from 3 seconds to 2 seconds. Look at an object for 2 seconds, close your eyes, visualize it. Go through steps 2 or 1 to 9 again, then cut it to 1 second. And there's going to come a point where you could see one thing, and when you close your eyes, you continue to see it almost like you didn't close your eyes. It sounds crazy, but it gets that freaky powerful. At that point, all you got to choose is any object that you've seen before, and it'll pop in your mind just like that. All right, that's a very powerful visualization strengthening exercise. When I say visualize, this is how I want you guys to visualize in the mornings. Visualize yourself trading successfully that day. Visualize yourself doing something nice for somebody and picture it with as much vivid detail as possible. But it's very important that you not only see it, you hear it, smell it if appropriate, taste it if appropriate, and just feel its presence, and then be grateful for it and move on. Is that a powerful exercise or what? Do you guys enjoy that? Has anyone ever seen something like this? As we always say, oh, just visualize some stuff, but nobody really tells you. It's like a muscle. You got to work that muscle in order for it to get strong. All right? Practice this daily until you can visualize instantly, and you're going to notice massive, massive changes. All right. Back to the trading routine worksheet. I want to cover a point here for your routine. Oftentimes when we learn something new, and I'm sure a lot of you will agree with this, say if you've ever encountered this, you've learned something new and you just can't wait to leave and apply it. You're going to do this for 4 hours a day. I know it's only a 15-minute routine, but you're going to go out there and you're just going to kill it. That kind of attitude, like I'm just going to take this and run with it. Well, it's great. It's always great to be enthusiastic and optimistic, but what I'm going to tell you is this: when you make your routine something that's easier at the beginning, instead of 4 things, maybe just have 1. It's a worksheet with many aspects, but maybe just have 1 thing you're grateful for, 1 quick physical exercise, 1 daily goal for the first 21 days. The easier it is at the beginning, the more achievable it's going to be. All right, this is a concept of physics. It's called activation energy. And at the beginning, the harder something is to initiate in motion, the less likely you are to do it. All right, it's like this man pushing boulder A up a hill. If this hill was all the way up here, this man would start to lose hope that he could push it up the hill. Right? If this hill was just a little tiny hill like this, no problem. Push that rock off there with 1 hand. The idea is make your tasks have low activation energy. You don't want to create this elaborate thing and go over the top because you're less likely to do it. So make these morning routines habits, especially at the beginning, simple to follow, not very time consuming. Spend 5-10 minutes a day. All right. If you have to skip the physical part, great. Skip it for the first 21 days, then incorporate it later. Do whatever you think is going to work right now. Not what you think you want to be like in 5 years. I want to work out for 3 hours in the morning. Great, but work up to that. Because the more likely it is to be doable and easy to do, the more likely your subconscious mind is to agree and form it as a pattern. Does that make sense, guys? Yeah, absolutely. The YouTube market update definitely counts as research. I do the work for everybody. I kind of go through a lot of news sources, summarize it, and give us the levels to focus on. But you also want to put in some time on drawing some levels, maybe some trading levels on your own, because drawing and seeing levels is also like a muscle, right? Do your levels before we get into the webinar and say, hey, what's George going to say? Is it going to confirm or not? And if it confirms, great, you're getting good at doing levels. And if it doesn't confirm, maybe yours will work and mine won't, right? So that's a great question. The morning market update is part of doing market research. That's one source. All right, good stuff so far? Does anyone have any questions about forming a routine? Scott says there's a good TED Talk on this, on activation energy. Very small steps. Absolutely, start with small steps. I'm a big believer. I'm a dreamer, all right? And in a way, that's sort of the downfall I'm working to conquer, is that I have these big goals, visions, and plans, but then breaking it down to small tasks for right now is where I have the challenge, because I just still want to think big. getting into the details for me has always been a challenge. That's why I didn't do that great at school, because school teaches you all about the details. School is no place for vision. So very small steps is how you start. All right. Tasha, I love it. You've told me that before. Dumb goals and smart tasks. Exactly. Easy things to do and smart tasks or smart goals for the long term. But have simple things to accomplish. And that makes sense, I hope. Is everyone understanding of the process of having a trading routine? Let me ask you this. Does anyone have a trading routine right now that they follow? And if you don't, are you committed to trying it for 21 days? Excuse me. Okay, great. Let's move forward. David, you have your hand up. Do you have a question? You could feel free to just ask in the chat box if you don't mind. Or maybe you accidentally clicked the button. Awesome. Good job, Laurent. How are the affirmations working for you, Laurent? Are you noticing some change in the way you think? Because I hope you don't mind me saying this, you're more of an analytical type. And your analytical brain's firing on all cylinders. You just got to get your subconscious mind there as well. And I know you're doing it. I know you're seeing a lot of success. I believe in you, buddy. Good job, man. Happy to hear that. All right, let's talk about trade journaling. I was going to do this whole piece on trade journaling and review. I don't think, look, here's the bottom line. The harder trade journaling is, once again, the less likely you are to do it consistently. The more important thing is that you do it consistently over doing this elaborate journal. But you do have to have a journal. How many of you use a trading journal? I still use one. I'll tell you what it is at the very end and how I do it. But I'll give you some tips to create your own. I don't want to impart my ways on you. I use one every day. Great job. If you're not keeping a journal, how do you know what to change? How do you know what you're creating? How do you know what you're doing if you're not recording it? Right? So the journal is a very key and critical component of trading, especially at the beginning. And what's working, what's not, that's revealed by your trading journal. Now, I'll tell you how easy it is to create a trading journal. Does anyone ever use Evernote? Let me pause the screen so I could open up a quick Evernote for you. OneNote, anything that you use will suffice for this. So here's Evernote. You could literally put, I think if you hit F5, oh, that didn't do it. There's a shortcut key that inserts the time and date as a headline. It was F5. I don't think I'm on that part of the keyboard. I think it's on shortcuts. But all you do is, I'm looking for a long at XYZ level. And then bullet points, however you want to format it, and here's why. Buy imbalance, blah, 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 blah. And then clip a screenshot. On Market Delta, it's as easy as clicking on a window and saying, grab a screenshot. If you click on any window, right click, there's take a screenshot. It'll copy it to the clipboard, Control V and paste it. And explain why you got in after you got in the trade. So do pre-trade and post-trade journaling. You can do all your pre-trade while you're getting into the trade and post-trade at the end of the day to allow you to focus on the next trade. Or if you're having problems with getting emotional while in a trade, do your post-trade after you've completed it. Get out of the trade, now you got to do some post-trade analysis. That analysis, putting it on paper, is what's going to be important to reset your psychology and balance. All right? And a lot of times people ask, well, what should I put in that journal? You should definitely put technical stuff, why you're getting into trades, why you're getting out of them, what happened, and what you could do differently. All right? And if you felt a certain way, identify that. Put it in the journal. There's no template. Just tell yourself whatever is important. The way I like to give this analogy is, if you had a boss at the end of the day that would ask you, let me review your work activity, what would they want to see in a trading journal? And that's what you put in there. All right. However, at the same time, this is not the kind of boss that you need to impress. This boss is you. All right. This is not the kind of boss that you got to lie to in your report. Oh yeah, the printer broke, so yeah, that's why I couldn't do this. Meanwhile, you're out with Joe having coffee. You're out with Joe having Joe. This is the type of report that you need to be brutally honest about. This is the kind of report that I don't show to many people because it's personal. I go deep into it. It's almost like self-healing for me while I'm going to the journal. And I don't have a problem showing you guys a snippet of my journals, but I'll show you how I do them in a minute. Okay? It's nice to do it during the trade as well as you're setting up the trade. Do you know why? Because it prepares you to read back your report. If you're writing it and as you're writing it, you're like, this sounds like a terrible trade, your journal could disqualify a trade opportunity for you. Does that make sense? You're putting it on a different medium. If you're just thinking, thoughts could change instantly, but visuals can't. Therefore, it's important to qualify the trade before. Mark does a journal. Mark just recently quit his job to trade, and you should see how much detail he puts in his journals. But that's what's important to Mark, because that's how he learns. That's what's important to him. There is no right way to do it, and no wrong way to do it. Does that make sense? Very, very important that you guys journal. I want you all to commit. If you take one thing from this entire evening, it's that. I want you to apply a journal. Pre-trade, post-trade. And for my journal, at the end of the day, I grade myself. I put a grade, and I'll give myself a letter. A+. You know, F. You should have just not come into work today. No, you're welcome, Mark. Mark's here today. And he's doing it right. Mark is the kind of guy that's analytical, and he's not easy on himself. He identifies the weakness and asks how to work on it, reflects, but then makes the decisions himself. And that's what you guys have to do. That journal is very important. And actually, it was Mark who triggered me for an idea that I'm going to share with you next, and I think it's very powerful. I'm going to start doing this as well. I'm always learning also. I'm not perfect. Heck, if I was perfect, 100% of the people would be perfect. It's very easy. So there's two ways to do it. Use Evernote or word processor like I showed you. If you really, really are struggling with technology, you could just get Notepad. My very first journal was Notepad on Windows, and I think this is where the F5 works. There it is, time and date. See how I knew that? F5, it just puts the current time and date, and I would say, you know, I like this trade because blah, 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 blah. I would type it out and put screenshots. Now, Evernote's free. It's a powerful tool. You could put tags on it and look for trades that were only short. If you put a tag on your Evernote that says short trade, see that? It had short volatility. If you go in there and put a tag short trade, long trade, now you can recall all your short trades. And they serve as a record of what you're doing. They serve as a pre-qualification for your trade, and they serve as a means for you to analyze and improve. There's literally no negative of having a journal. Okay. The other way to do it is record your session video and audio. And this is, if you could do this, again, remember activation energy. Everything we talked about tonight, consider activation energy. This is by far the hardest way to do a journal because it takes a lot of time to review afterwards, and it's also the most powerful. And I'll tell you why. There's actually a technology that you could install in your web browser that you could clip audio files that are 30 seconds long and save them, audio and screen share, and it's free. I can tell you what it's called because I had it. Do I still have it? Screencastify, screen video recorder. You just click the button. Scott's got all the links today, and you can record it. And I'll tell you why it's important. The video will capture the trade. The audio will capture what? You guys remember communication? I'll give you a fact. When you communicate with somebody, what percentage of the communication do you think is the language, the words that you use? What percentage would you say out of 100? 7%. 7 freaking percent. That means I could just be saying blah, 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 and you're like, wow, this guy's likable. And there's research to say people who made nonsense dribble out of their words but said it nicely were liked more. 58% of communication is actually 93% of communication is nonverbal. It's not nonverbal. It's not the words you choose. It's the tonality and your physiology. Those are the most important things. You're going to pick up on your tonality and emotion when you record audio. If you can commit to that, if you think you commit to it, do it. I would caution for those of you that are optimists that you should probably start with just the word version and see how it works. because then the review is done afterwards. I'll be honest with you, I only review sessions in which I do terrible and I have a breakdown of my discipline. Then I'll go through and listen to the whole session. I'm talking about 2 hours of these morning webinars we record. I'll go through and listen to every minute of it. Listen to how I breathe. Listen to what I say, what I do. Very important for me. All right? Crazy stuff. Laurent says, I trade my best when I try to emulate you talking about the market. Laurent, because you're putting yourself in a physiology, right? You're putting yourself in a state of being one with the market. And that's the beauty of the community. The best part is I actually used to talk to myself. I was at home. My fiance was at home as well when I had my home office. I would talk to myself about the trade. I would verbally say it out loud because I have a big component of self-talk. I'm auditory digital as much as I am visual. So I would speak out my trade. And when I said it out loud, I'm like, that sounds stupid. This is a terrible trade. And I wouldn't get into it. So even if you need to talk at your computer like somebody's there and you're explaining the trade to them, do it. Do whatever it takes. Just get it on paper or audio. All right. This is an idea that I got from Mark and working with Mark. This is actually a really good idea that kind of popped in my mind that I somewhat did before, but I formalized it here. Create a Hall of Fame with your journal. And what I mean by that is create your very own Trader Hall of Fame. You are a unique, perfect individual. And what you need to do is kind of create a separate journal file. So you have one file for your daily journals and another file where you only clip the trades that you're proud of. Like, I mean, is anyone a musician here? If you ran into a record executive on the street and you said, let me hear your 3 best songs. That's what I'm talking about, that kind of quality. And as you get new Hall of Fames, throw them in that journal, put them on the top. So the latest ones are at the very top. And now what you have is a journal file of success and put all the details in it. And now when you run into a crappy trade and you're like, man, what am I doing? I feel off. You look at your Hall of Fame, you pull the latest trade, and you notice how it was different. And you know it's going to be different, right? And this is a unique idea. It's a good idea. Somebody's going to say, can I create a Hall of Shame? No, absolutely not. You don't want to dwell on that. All right, most recent trades at the top. If you run into a rut, you could review your Hall of Fame trades. You're going to not, remember, the mind does not know the difference between a visualization and reality. Therefore, if you relive the moment of a Hall of Fame trade, it's like you just did it, right? It's like you just did it. Now you're going to get back into that physiology. So in fact, a Hall of Fame trade could be one of your exit strategies from the self-sabotage cycle also. Make sense? Is that a good idea? Who's going to try to implement that? I'm going to start doing it starting tomorrow. All right, so now we've gone through your trading routine for the morning. We've done your trading journal and the importance of it and 2 ways to do it. And last but not least, so far we've done the Hall of Fame, which is kind of a subsection of your trading journal, to be perfectly honest with you. Let's move forward. How do you analyze that journal? All right, guys, in today's lesson, I want to give you some tangible stuff that you could apply. The psychological stuff and the unconscious mind understanding is great, but these are tangible things that you need to put into practice. And that's the intention with this last lesson. So review and redo is kind of my terminology. What you want to do is review your values, helps you remember the bigger picture. So one thing you could review is your value sheet, and that's something that you need to review. Review your goals in addition to your trades. Remember why you started. What do you want out of trading? That keeps you on the path to where you want to go. Remember, there's 2 types of motivation: to weigh an award, or to weigh an award, away and toward, away and toward motivation. The away one scares you from something. The toward pulls you towards it, and you want to always focus on toward motivations. They're lasting and forever. Away motivations are only going to keep you away from something enough to distance yourself to separate the emotion, but you're always close to it, and you stop moving. Once you get far enough away from a bear and it can't hurt you, you're not scared of it anymore. However, if you're in the forest and you see a nice lake and you run towards it, that's going to keep you a lot more motivated. You got a goal, you got a sight. Of course, the bear might be by the lake. Heads up. So you review your goals and know why you started and what you want. and review yesterday's trading journal. So before you guys start trading for the day, review your journal from yesterday. It's a nice little refresher of what happened and the goals and lessons that you got from it. Mistakes, successes. With mistakes, I'm going to caution you this, and I think that's the next bullet point. Review your trades individually, obviously, but then with your mistakes, don't relive the emotion of the mistake. If you're somebody who sees a mistake and you're like, ah, stupid me, I can't believe I did that, forget about the mistake. Don't review it. Review the successes only. What did you do good? And if you're that type of person, while you're journaling and you make a mistake, keep it positive. Say, well, I learned the following. What did you learn from the mistake? There's no sense in writing negative mumbo jumbo inside of a notepad. None at all. Always keep it positive. That's the only way that your mind's going to accept it. All right. Review the trades and what you could have done better, and review your successes and what you did do better. Review them individually and relive the good trades. I give you permission to associate back to the moment that you made the good trades, but I strongly forbid you to relive the bad trades. There should be no emotionality. Remember we did the time technique when you're floating above, and I said stay high above and notice the moment, apply the learnings, but don't go low. Just stay high above. Same idea here. Stay high above on the bad trades. There's no need to relive the emotion twice. Apply the learnings from them, but review and forgive. The good ones, review and relive. That's important. Relive those moments. Experience it again. Why not? Because now you know what a feeling you had going into it and what it felt like going out. You're giving a subconscious command. All right, guys. Like I said, only associate into positive memories. I forbid you from going into negative ones. And that's also a good technique. So now I've given you a morning routine, a trade journaling process, a review process. So we're building on it. And I want to move to another thing here that's a little bit higher level for today's lesson. I want to talk to you guys about the journey to the top with an analogy. Does anyone do any hiking or mountain climbing? My father's on the webinar. I don't want to scare him, but at one point I did have somewhat of a serious consideration, to the point that I did a lot of the research, made a few calls to try to take a run at the summit of Mount Everest. The problem with that was it was very expensive for me at the time, and now looking at it, I don't want to be up there. All right. Anyways, it's more personal, but I gave up on that ambition, and I have no doubt in my mind I would have made it. By the way, I would have been at the top. I saw myself at the top. But here's how they climb Mount Everest. Is there any climbers? Do they just go from base camp? First of all, the hike to base camp is something ridiculous, like 10 days. One of my best friends and groomsmen did the hike. He said that in itself was exhausting. He doesn't know how that's just a hike to base camp. And how do you think they go up? They go camp 1, camp 2, camp 3, 4, and the summit? Is that the path that you guys think they travel? I'll tell you the path they travel. They usually go base camp, camp 1, and if they see difficulties, challenges, acclimatizing, getting used to that type of environment, they'll actually come back down to base camp. By the time you're done Everest, you probably hiked it a few times. Then from camp 1, you go to camp 2, and the higher up you go, you might have to come down for acclimatizing. Get back down to 6,400 meters, then go to camp 3, and then make a run at camp 4, come down and acclimatize. All right, so wherever humanity got this idea that you start down here and you end up here and it's just a catapult vertical, we need to remove that from our mindset. And look, I'll give you guys the truth. This is how I personally think. A lot of the times we want the solution that has the most reward with the least amount of work. That's sort of psychologically ingrained in us. But I'll tell you this. If you go back just a couple hundred years ago, we were cave people. You go back a couple thousand years ago, we knew nothing about what we know now. We don't have that kind of technology. And every single day we had no security. We had to fight for where we're going to eat. Every day we had to find food. Imagine that. Imagine there's no metro or grocery store. What gives us the right to believe that we have entitlement to simple things? All right, and they're not. So I'm going to tell you this. On your journey to the top, you're not going to go from base camp to camp 4 and the summit. No one's done it like that. You come back down, go back up. There's ups, there's downs, there's trials and tribulations. No matter where you are, as long as you have life, as long as you have air, as long as you have water, as long as you have survival, you have an opportunity to get to the summit. All right? It might not be now, but it can always happen. And And that's what you guys need to focus on. And I know we're all at different parts of our journeys, some at camp 1, some at camp 4, but I'll tell you this, anyone in life that admits they're at the summit doesn't know it, but they're probably at camp 4 at the very top. Nobody actually ever gets to the summit. The day that you accomplish everything that you want, you have to want more, or else it's over. Technically, your life is fulfilled, right? You got to continuously push yourself and your goals, because that's what trading's all about. And that being said, you might be on camp 4 today, but you have to come all the way down to base camp because you forgot something. That's life. And Scott said it good. He said life pullback, right? It's a pullback for life. And I want you guys to focus on the big picture. You got a lot of tools, as we're getting ready to conclude this. You got a lot of tools in your toolkit. Always focus on where you're trying to go. The one analogy that doesn't really hold about Everest is that there's a death zone. There is no death zone in life. Every camp that you're at is unique and there's challenges, but as long as you apply the learnings in that camp, you're going to be moving forward. On Everest, above 8,000 or 8 kilometers, you actually begin to die as you climb upwards above that level. Your cells start to break down. You're in active decay at that point. You're in active dying mode as you go up. So that's what I want to tell you. I don't know what camp each and every one of you are at, but I believe in you. And I think the next one is achievable. Even if you have to come down to camp, that's great. You went live and you did bad. Well, why did you do bad? What can we work on? What can we change? We give you more tools, get you better prepared. Now you can take a run at the summit again. And it's a constant journey. All right. A lot of us think, hey, if I can only make $500 a day, my life will be perfect. Well, that's not true. When you make $500 a day, your next goal is $1,000 a day. The next goal is 5,000. Constant growth. You got to keep going. All right. I truly believe this about trading and life in general. If you wake up one day and you don't want to fight and you just want everything to be served to you on a silver platter, nothing good comes out of that. You got to want to fight, especially in trading. Every day is a fight. There's some days, and I'm being honest with you guys here, there's some days I come to work and I know that I have to take risk, and I'll still get butterflies before the trading day. I'm like, oh, how's the day going to go? That's natural. You get used to it. That's the job that you chose, but the benefits far surpass any of the challenges. All right? So no matter what camp you're at, come down to camp if you have to, get the right tools, and get your butt up top. Cool? The Phoenix plan, says Ronnie. Exactly. That's what the Phoenix plan is for. It's kind of like a camp immersion, one after the other. You might have to backtrack a few steps. And there's a saying that I love on this is, even if you fall on your face, you're still moving forward. So don't worry. Don't trip. Don't fall. Don't be afraid of tripping and falling, because you're still moving forward. That's what I'm trying to say. All right. Now I want to do a quick little meditation with you guys. It should last about 10 minutes. And then after that, we got 5 minutes and we'll wrap it up. We have a 15-minute timeline to go here. Are you guys ready for a quick little meditation? And I'm going to record it, clip this part of the audio, and make it available to everybody in the resource center, so it's easily accessible. All right. Loosen and just wiggle your arms a little bit. Just relax and allow yourself to relax. All right. And don't worry, let go of the mouse. You're not going to need to type. You don't need to talk. You just need to sit and chill out. All right. So sit back, guys. Relax and just close your eyes. In a very few moments, you're going to be more relaxed than you've ever known yourself to be. I'm going to mention certain parts of your body, and as I do, I want you to just feel that part begin to relax. Just feel that part just begin to relax. In order to help you relax, I want you to imagine yourself in a wonderfully magical forest. It's almost nighttime, and the sky is a beautiful indigo blue. The stars are coming out, and the moon is lighting up the rich forest trees. Off in the distance, you hear the hypnotic sounds of a bubbling brook, and the crickets seem to be lulling you to sleep. And as you lie motionless, you begin noticing a wonderfully white light just above your head. This white light is the most relaxing light you can imagine, and as it begins to lower around the crown of your head, you seem to be touched with a desire and willingness to relax deeper and deeper with every breath you take. Continuing lower now, it begins to touch the forehead, And as it does, I want you to feel all the little frown lines, all the little worry lines in the forehead just seem to disappear. The forehead smooths out, feels so relaxed, and you feel this relaxing light coming around the eyes. Now the eyelids seem to become very, very heavy. So heavy they don't even seem to want to open. They may flutter a little, but that's okay. Just feel how heavy they are. And as the relaxation comes down around the facial muscles, all the little muscles in the facial area just begin to relax. Relaxation comes further down around the mouth now, and all the hundreds of little muscles around the mouth just start to relax. So much so that the lower jawbone becomes heavy and the teeth may part. The mouth may even open up a little bit with relaxation as you continue deeper and deeper relaxed. Feel this relaxation now around the lower jawbone and behind the ears, so that all the little nerve endings behind the ears just seem to relax as you continue deeper and deeper and even deeper. The relaxation goes to the back of the neck now, down around the shoulders. So much tension seems to go to our shoulders, but now you feel the shoulders just begin to relax. You can even feel them drop a little. The relaxation seems to go to the backbone now, and as it goes down the spinal column, it just seems to go out to the sides, so that every muscle, every nerve, and every fiber in the back just seems to relax. The relaxation seems to come now to the small of the back and around the bottom. This warm sense of relaxation comes to the back of the thigh now, and into the hollow of the knee, around the calf of the leg, around the heel, to the bottom of the foot, and each and every toe just relaxes even more and more as you go deeper, deeper, and even deeper. Calm, very peaceful, very relaxed. And now, if necessary, allow yourself to shift your body however you need in order to become even more comfortable and become even more and more relaxed. We're going to proceed to relax the rest of you now. Starting with the throat muscles, feel the throat muscles just start to relax. The relaxation comes down the fronts of the shoulders, down the upper arm, over the elbow, down the forearm, to the hand, and each and every finger just relaxes more and more and more as you go deeper, deeper, and deeper relaxed. Just relaxing, doing so very, very well now as you continue to relax. Feel the relaxation now coming back to the throat muscles, down into the chest, and all the muscles and organs within the chest now just begin to relax. This relaxation continues down to the stomach area, and all the muscles and organs within the stomach just seem to relax. This warm sensation of relaxation goes down into the thighs, over the knees, down the shin bone, across the instep of the foot, and into the foot itself. And each and every toe just relaxes more and more as you go deeper and deeper, relax deeper. And you continue deeper and even deeper calm, very, very relaxed. You are a profitable trader. You're providing the life you want, providing safety and security for yourself and your family through trading. Every time you are in a trade and feel anxiety, you'll take a deep breath and shift to calmness as that anxiety melts and effortlessly eases out of your body and mind gracefully and peacefully. Every time you feel fear when you trade, you will take a deep breath and shift to calmness as that fear melts and effortlessly eases out of your body and mind gracefully and peacefully. You are a confident trader. You trust your analysis. You enter trades when you know it is the right time. You exit trades when you know it is the right time. You know the right time. You feel the right time. When the right time comes, you will execute. You are a decisive trader, a disciplined trader, and a diligent trader. You are now a successful trader. You are already a successful trader. Furthermore, you're compassionate, grateful, and accepting of every living thing on this planet. You are grateful for infinite wisdom energy, and resources provided by the universe. You are abundant, you are growing, you're full of light, energy, and love. You are. You are motivated, dedicated, and inspired. You are successful here, now, and for all eternity. You're empowered, smart, capable, and loved. You are a successful trader. In a moment, I'm going to count from 1 to 5, and with each number, you'll come 20% of the way back into the room, back to wakeful awareness. 1, breathing starts to resume and you hear the sounds around your room. 2, your awareness starts to expand as you notice your body sitting in your chair. 3, you feel your arms, legs, and body starting to move around and blood resuming back through your body. And 5, eyes wide open, wide aware. Come back to now. How was that? I know you're deeper relaxed. It's awesome. That was actually a meditation / hypnosis. So it's very powerful stuff. We spoke directly to the unconscious mind. So it's a good script. Essentially what it does is it's an induction, and then you provide positive and affirming commands that the subconscious mind accepts. So that was a good little meditation / hypnosis. I'm going to make it available as a recording. And when I first went through this, I woke up like from one of my deepest sleeps ever. I was out cold, and it was great. Very powerful stuff. Yeah, I'll clip the audio and I'll make it available for you guys. I want to finish this webinar off with a few things. I'll give you a little bit of time to sort of get back to your awareness, although you should be already. And I just want to go over what the simple success formula was. Thanks, Ronnie. This stuff really works, especially it wasn't an outright hypnosis. An outright hypnosis would require you to have been told it was a hypnosis. So, by the way, hypnosis is you accepting suggestions. That's all it is. It's just allowing somebody to provide you suggestions that you accept willingly, and that's all it is. Nothing crazy. Like a lot of hypnosis, the stage hypnosis stuff where people fall and like they wet themselves. That's stage hypnosis, totally different. All right, let's move forward and talk about this simple success formula. We've already talked about it. Cause leads to effect. Did you love it? That's awesome, Tasha. Tell him I said rock on, partner. He's going to be a great trader now. He's going to be a great trader. That's fact. There's a simple success formula. Cause leads to effect. And we talked about this in lesson 1. And I want to finish this entire course by circling back to what we started with. The results that you see in your life, every single thing that you have around you right now, be it good or bad, the way you interpret it. First of all, there is no bad in this world. It just is. Everything just is. But everything around you that you surround yourself by, every single thing that you have is a result of something that you've done. All right. And when you look at life through a lens of how are you responsible, you take your power back. A lot of the time we say, oh, well, I don't have this because this person did that. And what that does is it shifts the cause to that person. Now you're living at effect. You're the reason for somebody else's action, and no power comes out of that. It's very convenient to excuse yourself from it, but as long as you're living in effect, you're living in a place where you can't make changes to your life. You've got to come back to cause. And we started this entire course with this. I want to round it out and ask you guys this. How has life been the last 7 weeks? And you can be honest with me, living at cause for your actions. Have you seen shifts in your mentality? Have you seen life through a different lens? Because I can honestly tell you the other day, somebody almost rear-ended me in my new car, and I said, how was I responsible for that? And I always ask that. When somebody gets angry at me and displays it towards me, I ask myself, how am I responsible for this? What can I change? It gives me power. All right, it gives me optimism and strength to make changes and adjustments. So always live a cause, guys, and I'll leave that with you. Always ask yourself, how am I responsible for what's happening at the moment and for what I have? And then you could ask yourself, how am I responsible to change it? All right. Also, there's 3 requisites for change. And this is a good way to round out the whole course. The first requisite for change is we could get rid of the negative emotions. We've done that through advanced neuro-linguistic programming techniques, and you have it recorded, a script. We get rid of your limiting decisions. We could integrate any parts that you may have, which we didn't do in this course. It's a little more advanced. We could align your values. We could insert goals into your future timeline. We could do everything, and we have done it. But taking action and enforcing boundaries is up to you. All right, there's a line here that you have to take responsibility for, and each and every one of you are responsible for it. All right, you have to take action. You got to enforce your boundaries. If you're doing something, if you're doing a resource anchor and your friends and family around you say, oh, well, what is that silly thing? You say, how am I responsible for that? Well, I'm responsible. Maybe they're not educated. They don't know. Maybe I could explain myself to them. And be a cause, but most importantly, you have to take action, and sometimes you got to enforce your boundaries. You know, I got a lot of friends from my past. Like, we didn't grow up in the best neighborhood. In fact, you know, there was stuff that I've seen and been through, and you know, I'm not going to incriminate myself, but the point I'm trying to make here is those friends, as much as I love them as people, I had to enforce my boundaries. You got to let some people go in your life. And I'm not endorsing that you go there and cut off contacts abruptly. What I'm saying is you got to enforce your boundaries. You got to allow yourself to be a cause and do whatever it takes to get there. And most importantly, focus on what you want. All right. If you ever catch yourself in a sense saying, oh, well, I don't want to do this, flip that sentence right away and say, what do you want? And you know there's people in your life that'll tell you out there, oh, you don't want this, don't do this, that shouldn't happen. But they're not thinking about what do they want. Ask a person like that. I challenge you guys to ask somebody in the next conversation, say, I don't want to work at this job. I don't want to work these stupid hours. I don't want. Just say, like, you know, I'd love to hear the rest of this, but what do you want? I'm really interested in hearing that. Guarantee they'll be stumped, right? And it's your responsibility to take action, enforce your boundaries, and focus on what you want. I'll give you guys a few last things before we move on. Remember, life is images of the mind expressed. Whatever you think will become. If you catch yourself thinking negative thoughts, don't get resentful or angry at yourself. Just let them kind of melt away effortlessly and easily. Have you heard that before somewhere? Who's seen this? I want to show you one last thing to really solidify this for you in a physical realm. Who's seen this water experiment? I think we might have talked about it before. Awesome, Rodney. Thank you, man. That's really good feedback. I'll show it to you guys. There's music, but the music's not very helpful, so I'm not going to patch it through. This is an experiment that was done by a doctor who would essentially expose music and words spoken to water and then crystallize it. All right, so look at this. These are, when you say the word love to water, it crystallizes this image. All right, by saying that word. Look how beautiful that is. You can even draw that. All right, when you say thank you, it creates this type of crystal. It crystallizes the water. And check this out, love and appreciation. Happiness. So when you're using positive language, look what you could create. That looks like a diamond. That looks like a perfectly cut stone. Truth. And then I'm going to fast forward it to some of the negative words. All right, look, when you say Mother Teresa, it almost creates a lifelike image. That kind of looks like Mother Teresa, to be perfectly honest with you. It's crazy. And some people will take a look at this and say, well, how is that possible? How does the water know the word? The water doesn't know the word. The water resonates the energy and the energy that you have towards the word. And look at this. When you say things that are more evil, like you make me sick, I won't even repeat that second sentence. Look at the crystal form. When you say the word soul, when you say the word Adolf Hitler, you can almost see a face. You see that face there? That does not look good. Gratitude. Back to positive things. So the reason I show you this is that this is physical proof that the energy that you put out manifests into the physical realm. You may not know it, you may not be aware of it, but you all are. You're enlightened. It comes with responsibility. It comes with the responsibility for you to stay positive and help others around you. You have a responsibility now, because there's no reason to know this and not be able to use it effectively. None whatsoever. What percentage of the human body is water? Does anyone know? Depending on your age and how old you are, obviously, it's 70 to mid 90s. Exactly. You guys got it. So if saying words crystallizes water and you're 70% water, can you see how what your words and what energy, more importantly, you have in your mind and in your heart could create? It's physical proof, right? I was mind blown when I saw that. And then I did some more research. Water actually has memory. There's been an experiment in 1956. It wasn't an experiment. In 1956, a lot of leaders met together to talk about chemical warfare weapons. They were locked in a room for 7 days. It was very top secret. They were developing chemical weapons. On the seventh day, you guys know what happened? They didn't eat anything that day. It was towards the early afternoon. They were drinking only water, nothing else. No flavoring water, nothing. It's 1956, just water from the tap. All the people, all the members in that room got water poisoning. They were poisoned through water, and that was the official study and the official cause. They poisoned that water with the energy. So you're at cause. You guys are responsible. The biggest takeaway from this course, if you learn how to exit the self-sabotage cycle, if you learn how to be a better trade, great. But if you learn how to be better at just living your own life, that was the whole intent. If I show you guys a page, I wanted to change your life before I wanted to change your trading. But I knew that if I changed your life, I would change your trading as well. So hopefully I've given you that insight. Last piece of info, remember, you see 2.3 million bits per second, and through your own filters, you internalize 126 and create a state and an internal representation that creates your behavior, that creates your results. All right? If you want to go in a new direction, you got to take the action to shift that train off the track. The unconscious mind likes to stay on track. If you put it on track to go a certain direction, unless you make change, it won't. All right, so use these tools, apply them regularly, practice your gratitude, do your journaling, come to the table always positive, think of positive imagery, shut down negative thoughts, negative people. And you don't have to be harsh. Just be kind, accepting, loving. And I'm telling you guys, there's a higher power than us. Some people call it God. Some people call it whatever. I am not personally religious, and I know others are, but I know there's a higher power. And we see eye to eye on that. Just trust. You have to trust. You have to believe that you could do this. And more importantly, you got to train your unconscious mind to align with your values. And you guys are off to great things. I want to see you guys do some awesome stuff. I'm really excited about this group of everyone that's attended. I have a list of people who attended at least 5 webinars. I'm going to keep tabs on you guys. I'm not letting you off the hook. All right, here's a few resources to end the webinar and this course, frankly. My favorite meditation app, if you guys want to do some meditation in the morning, Insight Timer. It's an app. You could download it on your iPhone and Android device. It's free meditations, thousands of them, like 4,000 plus meditations, and they're ranked by people and categorized. So if you want meditation to deal with negative energy, there's one for that. If you want some meditation to deal with somebody who said something to you like a boss, there's one for that. And people rate it, so there's ratings as well. So if you want to search one that's most commonly listened to, there's some for that. If you want a beginner program to meditation, there's a whole course on there for it. It's called Insight Timer. It's amazing and it's free. I love that app. Use it. Used to use it when I first started. Now I meditate to my own stuff. My mind's full of things. I got things to go to, which means I got stuff to clear as well, because the idea of meditation is that you let go of all thought. Favorite books: Psycho-Cybernetics, Power of the Subconscious Mind, and I have these notes available in the book club area of Trade Pro, and Power versus Force, my 3 favorite books on this stuff. It'll bring your conscious awareness to a level that takes you to the next step. You can find a lot of these online in PDF. I don't support plagiarism or stealing content, but they're also on Amazon. To get into heart-mind connection, I I so strongly recommend this. This was mind-blowing to me, and I've done a lot of research into this stuff. Missing Links is a program. It's called Gaia. Gaia is like the Netflix of self-consciousness and expanded awareness. The stuff you see on there is so good. There's so many good documentaries, but Missing Links in particular, strongly, 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 strongly recommend that you watch that program its entirety. I think it's 16 videos, about 30 minutes each, and they basically start with the premise that humanity is much older than we're led to believe in the new age. All right, and it also teaches about cycles of humanity and how there's things that have been dug up from 50,000 years ago that shows humans were in their present state form, body-wise, which dispels the evolution theory, and they find artifacts that are misplaced, very complex gear wheels and stones on layers that should have been around 200,000-300,000 years ago. And then it goes into the heart-mind connection and works its way sort of backwards. It's a really fascinating program. Highly recommend it. I don't get paid for endorsing it. I don't know the people that made it. I just love it. Expanded awareness. You guys want to watch some of this stuff? Gaia's really good. Forget Netflix. Netflix rots your brain. I mean, they have good documentaries. I shouldn't hate on Netflix. But Gaia's really good. Some advanced NLP techniques. Scott's has a bunch of these on YouTube as well. Missing Links. You could check out YouTube. Gaia's like $12 a month. But if you find Missing Links on YouTube, it's well worth the watch. If you could spare $12 a month, you could marathon it 1 month and cancel your membership. Best $12 I ever spent on Gaia. Advanced NLP techniques, neurolinguistics programming. If you want to take this to the next level, Yes Supply Co. I have to give you full and transparent disclosure. My fiance owns that company, but she does certification in neurolinguistic programming techniques. I'm going to give you a sell on it if you want to check out more stuff to help yourself, especially if you want to get in the business of healing and working with others. You definitely need to be certified. She does that. Best muscle testing stuff. I love muscle testing. I use it quite frequently. If you ever want to know how you truly feel, not how you logically feel, but how you unconsciously feel about something, and it's a yes or no question, you can get a pendulum. They're like $4 on Amazon. That's my absolute favorite way. Ask Mark. Mark is in the webinar. I got a pendulum right here in front of the computer screen. They don't see me use it, but I'm not going to be swinging pendulums while I'm trading. I do it before and after. All right. The leaning technique that we learned is very powerful also. And if you want to go into the next phase of like morning routines, this is a really good book, The Miracle Morning. He talks kind of about the same thing. He says there's 6 things that successful people do. It's a good book, and he encouraged you to wake up super early and do these 6 things every morning, starting with just 10 minutes, I think, and then he works his way up to an hour every morning. It should be about you preparing yourself for the day. Hal Elrod, there you go, Scott. Yeah, it's a good book. I strongly recommend it. It's become very commercialized as an enterprise. There's now like the Miracle Morning for the real estate genius. Like the real estate guy's going to do the same thing. It's a good book, though. It's a good read. All right, I ended off with this. Who's responsible to receive success, to live a life of freedom and on your own schedule, to overcome obstacles, to create a path that's right for you, and to make change at the end of the day? For everything and anything, it's you, the person in the mirror. And as we wind down this lesson and this course, I want to tell you I'm proud of you guys. I think everything that you've accomplished is your doing. You're responsible for it. And I'm just honored to be able to have a chance to work with you guys through this. I hope you've seen a lot of shifts. I'll end it off with these last one slide. Here's words that changed my life, and this goes back to Scotiabank. I was working as an employee, and I was told this. I was told by somebody who I highly respected, whose job I wanted eventually as a career path if I didn't do my trading thing on the side. This was my alternative. And he said, it seems like you're running away from things you don't want at this point of your life. And he said, when you do that, you get to a point where you get stuck with a lot of things, and you could always reverse, but it takes a lot of work to destroy and rebuild. It's a lot easier to build on a fresh plot of land. He said, stop running away from what you want and run towards what you want. If you keep that mentality in your head, if you keep yourself responsible for all change, if you keep working on yourself regularly, if you have goals, if you got a routine, I guarantee you guys, you're going to be successful. You already are, and you're going to take it to that next level. So I really look forward to what you're all going to do. honored to be here with you guys. Like I said, bittersweet moment for me because sweet, we finished the trading psychology course, pop champagne, but now what are we going to do on Tuesdays? I miss you guys. You guys created a really good environment. Thank you so much for being yourselves, for participating. I know this kind of pushed you a little bit outside of your comfort zone at times, but for that, you have now a much wider comfort zone that fits into it. You should always be pushing yourself out of your comfort zone. So thank you for coming along this journey with me. I'm really proud of what you guys have accomplished, and I can't wait to see what you guys do, man. I'm super stoked. You guys are the best community. I call you guys Trade Pro family. It's not a marketing gimmick. You guys are my family. We're all one at the end of the day, and one for all for one. Robin Hood. Thank you so much, guys. One favor that I will ask, because it's a new course and I really want to use it as a way to share this message with other people. If you found it helpful and if you think you could help others as well in their journey, if anybody is willing to send a testimonial through, not a testimonial, don't be like, oh, George is so great. Just talk about your experience. If it could be in video format, if you shoot it on your iPhone, you could GoPro camera. I don't care if you have a flip phone. If you record it, we'll edit it properly. I'd love to be able to use that, and I appreciate it, and I'm grateful and thankful for everything about you guys, no matter what you do and what course I actually take. I look forward to seeing you guys kick some ass, take some names. And that's it. That's our trading psychology course. I got the best beard ever. Any questions or comments that you guys might have?